Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Alex from TCG Discussions coming at you guys with my friend Joe. Say hi. And what did you do today?
Somehow 3-0'd with Raditz.
3-0 undefeated with Raditz. We had our friend Chuck was telling us that in round 3, the fact that there is a guy sitting in here undefeated with Raditz is something we thought neither of us were going to say. And so Joe did something really special today, and we were just going to profile it for you guys. So go ahead, take it away.
So it's the reboot leader. Same as the original leader. You know, swing, warp a card, look at the top 5 for a Vegeta or Nappa, and then discard a card because Raditz is not allowed to draw cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can awaken when you have a Unison at 3. I think I did that once today. Every other time I was just getting punched in the face, so I woke at 4. And then on this side, in a cool world, you get crit. But rounds 2 and 3, I played against black decks, so I didn't get crit.
Rip.
And then the triple strike ability that should say activate main. Good job, Bandai. Won me a game against Supreme Kai. Mainly just because I put all of his good targets on bottom of his deck, so he couldn't get back an overwhelm card that would kill me.
And what did you play today?
God, what was round 1? It's all a blur.
And
I know I played Zenoshin and Kai rounds 2 and 3.
And Slug round 1?
Slug was round 1,
okay.
Yeah. So, kind of an underpowered tournament, but this is literally a meme, but it worked. So I guess we'll move the leader over. We'll start with the field spell. 2 Vegeta's Powerball. I don't see a reason in the world to run more than these because you do have a fetcher for it. This card is sneakily just actually disgusting. Being able to restand one of your apes every turn is just ye olden days of King Vegeta restanding your 20Ks after they hit someone in the face. It's just nasty. The auto once per turn, if one of your blockers, which we run a ton of, blocks and gets killed, you can pay 1 to just search your deck for the ape version of that character. So all your Vegeta blockers turn into the 4-drop Vegeta that warps cards from, or discards cards from hand. Your Raditzes turn into the red-green Raditz, just KOs cards. Your Gohans can turn into the blocker Revenge monkeys. They do get played in rest mode, so they're not immediately useful, but this is a really good card, but still only running a 2. And you never ever pay the energy cost in this deck because you're definitely a green Saiyan.
So would you say this is like a huge sustain part of your deck? It allows you to maintain your game state?
This lets you keep repeatable board pressure as you're blocking attacks. So instead of negging the battle card that blocked, instead of losing one, you're not losing a card.
Awesome.
And you're keeping a board presence. And also you're turning a 5K blocker into a 20K beat stick.
Or 19K dual attack.
Or 19K dual attack. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Unison, King Vegeta Invasion's Command. When the set first got spoiled, I thought this was bad. I am categorically wrong. It's not Dark Broly good, obviously, but this thing is actually insane. It has a counterattack skill. I don't think I've ever done that in my life in testing to this point. But it's there. It's neat. It's a Spirit Boost 1, and it plays with 3 markers for 2 if you have a Great Ape in play. The +1 is what makes this Unison really good. Activate main, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand or one of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place it into the owner's drop.
Saw that today.
So yeah, there's a big thing, buy, and I'm still plussing. And then if you ever need to, -X, activate main, for each counter you removed, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it.
And that place, it just says place, right? So KO effects.
It says place.
Yeah,
so it doesn't trigger KO effects. It will trigger skills leaving play effects, but it is place. So if they have something that needs to be KO'd, it just doesn't happen. So now we're going to get into the 1-drop Saiyans. This is the only Saiyan in the deck that has no monkey version, because Bandai doesn't like Nappa. Nappa on guard, he is a blocker, but that's not why we're running him at 3. He has an auto when your opponent plays a battle card with an energy cost higher than their current energy. You can rest mode it, and then they either have to pitch a card from their hand or pitch one of their battle cards. So against Kai, He tried to Bardock me, activate. He had no cards in hand, so he had to put the Fighting Against Fate in the drop.
Huh? Rip.
So this is a very, very, very good card. I feel like in green, it's going to maybe see some sideboard play. Because at the worst, it's a -1 from their hand just for them playing something. At best, it gets rid of the thing they just played, so it's not hitting you, or gets rid of another threat. Next is the reason you only run 2 Powerball, 4 Vegeta Elite Resolve. So permanent, he gains blocker if you have a field spell in hand, or a field spell in play. So you have the Powerball in play. And then when you play him, he can either look at the top 3 for a green Saiyan that costs 3 or less, or he can just search the deck for Vegeta's Powerball and add it to your hand. So usually the first one fetches, and then the second one just goes digging for super combos, because we're running a 2-cost Saiyan super combo. So this is the consistency piece of the engine, and it's also a blocker, so it can block, die, and play the monkey. For Son Gohan, Confronting Invasion. This is just there to be a 1-drop blocker, and in some matchups, not that I played tonight, well, I guess Zeno Shin was kind of helpful. It's Self-Awakening if I can't find my Unison, because when it blocks and gets KO'd, you can take a card from your life to your hand. So it's kind of like card draw, and it also goes into a Great Ape when it dies. There is a theme here. Raditz requesting reinforcements. This got added to the deck only so I could play the dual attack Raditz Ape, but it's still fine. It's a blocker, and when it gets KO'd, its own effect, you can pitch a card from your hand to search for a 1-drop Vegeta or Nappa, send it to the warp, and then at the end of your next turn, play it. So you can... Yeah, didn't play that card. So you can get, you know, the Nappa on guard, or the Vegeta Elite Resolve, and then at the end of your next turn, it just triggers. So you have a Nappa on guard for your opponent's turn, or you have a Vegeta that digs to the top 5 for a 3-cost or less Saiyan. And it also goes into an Ape. I had 46 cards and needed to find something else to put in, so I figured we could use more Self-Awakening. I think I used it twice all day, otherwise it was really good energy. This could be any number of things. It's a flex slot. I just like it because it is critical. And it's always critical in like the leader who has to be not playing against mono black dot deck. And it's, like I said, Self-Awakening if you can't find your 3-cost Unison to awaken the easy way. Unfortunately, it does not have the blocker skill, so you cannot, off of this thing getting KO'd, go into the Gohan Ape. Onto the 2-drops. 4 Vegeta Omnipotent Elite. Literally just here to have access to red energy for the alternative play on the Raditz, or to hard cast the King Vegeta Monkey. That's about it. If your opponent has 5 or less cards in hand, it ignores energy exhaust. In a pinch, you could play one of these. It does draw a card, and then it does block twice a turn if it lives through the first one. So that's not the worst. And it also has dual attack, so it is a decent 16k push if you need it. But usually it's just so you have access to red energy. For Vegeta preparing to invade, this could probably be 3 to be completely honest, because it's unique, but as blocker, and it free plays if you have a field extra card in your battle area. And it's just a 5k blocker that also goes into a Great Ape, which is next. The Great Apes, we'll start with the one of, because I only owned one at the beginning of the night. King Vegeta Great Apes rule. Energy exhaust blocker, arrival red green for, I believe that's green. Yep. And he has an auto. For red, when this card is played, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and puts them in their drop.
That's really good.
Or, let me see here. If they don't, they choose up to one, or you choose up to one of your opponent's battle card and place it in its owner's drop. And then auto, at the end of your turn, it's Planet Vegeta for Great Apes. It just restands the squad.
So this stands all your blockers?
Yes, this restands
Oh
everybody.
my
Powerball
gosh.
restands one. I would say this probably needs to be a 3 of. You don't want 4 because it's going to be too many multicolors and it's going to mess up charging. You only want to ever really charge one or two red at the most. But this card is very good. That play auto, like your opponent does get the choice, but it's 2 cards from hand, or you get to choose something, just place it in the drop. For Raditz, might unleash Great Ape. I thought this was the worst ape in the deck. I was entirely wrong. Dual attack blocker, auto, limit 1, you pay a red or a green. When one of your, so it has the effect that all these apes do, if one of your things with blocker is removed by a skill, you can play it from your hand. So it's kind of redundancy in the deck, because Powerball, if they're KO'd, plays it from the deck. These can play themselves from hand if they're removed by skills.
So if you didn't have Powerball, this is when that would probably come in then?
No, against Kai, he secret identitied a 2-cost Vegeta, 1-drop Raditz, and a 1-drop Vegeta, and I proceeded to tap 3 and play 3 Great Apes.
Oh
from
my
hand.
god.
It's actually insane. Auto, when this card attacks, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than the number of cards in their hand and just KO it. And it's just gone. And in its other effect, the reason why we have red energy is you can pay 1 red and 1 green. If you have a field extra card in play, a green field extra card in play, you can just play this from your hand for 2. So if they don't ever trigger your first skill, you can just play it for 2, swing for 19. I think on average this card was swinging on people when they had 2 cards in hand. So 3 drops or higher, just die. The actual winner for weakest ape in the deck is Son Gohan Simeon Revenge. It just wasn't very relevant tonight. I still think it's good because it has the limit 1, play itself from your hand. Blocker Revenge, 19k.
Oh, Revenge too?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Gohan is the only one with Revenge, but he has Revenge. So he can just pop something that maybe has barrier you can't deal with. It's okay. You could shape on that. In fact, I probably will for the King Vegeta apes. The MVP of the deck, Great Ape Vegeta Embodied Might. It's 20k, has the pay 1, play it when something gets removed by a skill. Auto, when this card attacks, your opponent discards a card from their hand.
Okay.
Your leader's already warping cards, so you're just pitching more cards. Stuff like the leader and this card are especially good nowadays because Unisons exist, so I don't have to give you resources back. I can just wait until I've ripped your whole hand apart to swing on your leader.
And I can also see how that would be like really good. So like mathematically, if you think about it, it's like a rebrand every turn that's costing you nothing.
Yeah,
as soon as
leader
this card
plus
gets
this is just a rebrand, and it's the limit 1 is to play it. The limit 1 is not on, like, it's not unique, and the limit 1's not on the auto, like it is on the Deborah and Finn, that you can only draw the card once a turn. You can get 2 to 3 of these out and just go to town. At least in 2 of my games, I got people to the point where they had 1 card in hand, swing, they have to take a damage, swing, they have to take a damage, the card's gone.
Wow.
You just can't defend. And then last, I don't have a secret rare in here because I don't have any idea what secret rare I put in here, but our super combo, Rerun Paragus, still probably the best green super combo. It's also a 2-cost Saiyan, so our friend Elite Resolve can get it off the top.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, just 1 green Saiyan card of energy cost 3 less from among them, and then shuffle your deck. So I didn't actually discover that until the 3rd round, because I just used it to keep getting Nappas and Vegetas, and then I was like, oh, I could just get my super combo. It's a fun deck. It needs probably a few more tweaks, but I think the package is actually a lot better than I gave it credit for. And also, Raditz is not terrible. Like, yes, you don't draw cards, so against decks that heavily draw cards, you're probably gonna have a bad time. Icarus is gonna cause you fits. But if you're playing against anything that's less card draw than that, like Zeno Sin, I think after he played his extra cards and we went to like turn 7 or 8, I still had 30 cards in deck. Because I just don't draw extra cards. I don't minus cards from my deck, so his deck just doesn't do anything. I just play apes and hit you in the face. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The triple attack should say activate main. Don't let anyone like confuse you because it says auto. I don't know why you did this, Bandai. But
and I saw there weren't a lot of negates in the deck. Do you think that the deck's defensive enough without them?
No, I just don't have the negates. I would say if you're expecting a more, I got away with it tonight because everyone's kind of playing slow decks. But if you're playing against stuff like Starter Vegeta, Bardock, any of those hyper aggro decks, like you probably need dormant potentials in here somewhere, 100%. Because there's room to be cuts. You could cut the Son Gohan apes. I feel like they're not really worth it. Like Blocker Revenge is cute, but the number of times I even got one on field all night was 1, and it KO'd a Beyond All Limits. Like it wasn't. It didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It was just more of an annoyance. So you could cut that for some dormants, 100%. I feel like the Unison for the deck is very good. You could also play the Nappa Unison because it fits better with Raditz warping cards. I just really like the +1 on the King Vegeta Unison. I think it's super solid.
Yeah, it seemed really solid.
So if I would say if you wanted to like upgrade this from a budgety-ish build, you want some Frieza charismatic villains, some dormants, and probably some Zamasus. Just because you can pop an ape you no longer need and one of your million 1-drops to just play a 5-drop that also discards cards. Maybe this is a deck that would actually be a good idea to run Cell Zeno as your secret rare, because you can just feed it 3 great apes after they've swung. If they're Raditzes, 6 times, then you just feed them to quadruple strike.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Joe. And this is Alex from TCG Discussion. Signing off. We'll see you guys next time.